qui sait exactement de quoi ces armes sont capables, pourquoi nous devons s'agir. Natalie Provost et mes collègues Natalie Provost et ma collègue au caucus et au cabinet. Elle a survécu à la tuerie de masse à l'école polytechnique en 1989. Depuis, elle milite avec détermination pour le contrôle des armes à feu. Natalie Provost, as you know, is our caucus colleague and cabinet colleague. She has also survived the mass shooting at l'École Polytechnique in 1989. She has been a committed advocate for gun control ever since. I'd like to ask Natalie to say a few words. Merci.
Bonjour. Je peine à imaginer que je suis ici devant vous aujourd'hui comme membre du gouvernement qui annonce le début du programme de compensation pour les armes à feu. Je suis profondément émue et très, très fière. La dernière fois où j'ai pris la parole devant vous, c'est le 5 décembre 2024. Je ne savais pas que j'allais être candidate aux prochaines élections libérales, mais je savais que le gouvernement libéral serait capable de compléter ses promesses. Et c'est ce qu'on fait aujourd'hui en annonçant le projet pilote auprès des individus. Je veux remercier sincèrement la police de Cap-Breton qui s'inscrit dans ce projet-là et qui s'assure que ce qu'on va déployer va aller très bien. J'imagine que parmi vous, il y a plusieurs qui se demandent « Mais est-ce que c'est la fin de votre combat, Madame Provost? » Non. Il reste encore des choses à faire, je le sais et nous le savons tous, mais ce pas est fondamentalement important. En 1990, les étudiants de Polytechnique, les professeurs de Polytechnique, la société civile, les gens qui étaient touchés par le drame de Polytechnique ont déposé la plus grande pétition manuelle, parce qu'aujourd'hui c'est plus facile, la plus grande pétition manuelle jamais déposée qui demandait l'interdiction des armes de style d'assaut. Donc c'est un grand, grand combat qui tient à l'ensemble des Canadiens. Depuis toujours, depuis au moins 35 ans, on sait que ce type d'armes-là n'a pas sa place au Canada et aujourd'hui, on commence à les retirer de nos rues, de nos maisons. En 2020, quand le premier ministre Trudeau avait annoncé le premier décret qui interdisait une série d'armes, je me souviens que certains d'entre vous m'ont peut-être posé la question « Wow, c'est beau, c'est fini ». Non, je savais que non, parce que la piscine était pleine. Hein? On avait fermé le robinet pour en acquérir de nouvelles, il fallait vider la piscine. Aujourd'hui, et c'est déjà commencé auprès des entreprises, on a commencé à vider la piscine. C'est une excellente nouvelle. In English, just a few words. I'm very proud to be part of the government who began this program. The last time I was in front of you, on December 5th, I knew that the Liberals were able to complete it. And I'm very proud to be part of it. And I have great confidence that with the initiative taken by the Nova Scotia Police and the Cape Breton Police group, we will be able to fulfill it. And please remind that Canadian, 70% in rural region, 80% in urban region, Canadian agree. They see like us. Students in 1990 with the society tabled a petition to say that they were for the ban of assault-style weapon. Today, in 2025, we are still going on and we will complete it. Thank you.
Thank you. Merci Nathalie pour votre leadership et votre collaboration. It will take more than this program to eliminate gun crime from our streets and communities. And we are committed to doing whatever is necessary to make our communities safer. You cannot be serious about being tough on crime if you're not willing to be tough on guns. This program is part of that solution. We know that, Canadians know that, and Canadians support us on this. Happy to take your questions.
You don't seem to have confidence in this program. Why not? And is it appropriate to stay on as Public Safety Minister?
I have absolute confidence in this program. As you can tell, I have brought forward, I'm making this announcement today in collaboration with my colleagues as well as Cape Breton Police.
If you could go back. You
If
said
I-
you're doing it because the Prime
Saying
Minister...
saying something that I will do differently is not saying that I don't have confidence in the program. What I suggested was, in order to do it differently, there's a lot of frustration amongst Canadians, amongst those who've been impacted, that this has taken far too long. So in terms of the process itself, we brought in the initial order in council in 2020, as you recall. There's another one in 2024 and another one March of this year. So my preference, and I will say this publicly, is that I would have preferred to have this done sooner. But I have absolute confidence in this program, and that's why I'm here implementing
Why
it.
did you say it was about Quebec? Why did you say moving forward it was about Quebec?
The-
And that Quebec's different than the rest of Canada.
The Quebecers have been impacted by gun violence, by mass casualty events over a number of decades. My colleague here, who was in fact the coroner at the Dawson school shooting, we have another colleague who was impacted. She spoke about her experience at L'École Polytechnique. We know about the Quebec City mosque shooting. So this is a very live and real issue for Quebecers. It is also an issue for all Canadians, and that's why it is important that we're moving forward with the implementation of this program.
You said on the recording that you did not think that local police had the resources to enforce this. Why don't you think that? And what's the point of moving forward with it if you don't think it can be enforced?
Well, the context of that conversation, of course, it was in a context of a scenario that was offered to me, and it was commentary on that. In terms of the ability of police, I have every confidence that law-abiding citizens, first of all, will ensure compliance with the law. Secondly, I also have every confidence that law enforcement will be able to do their job and to ensure the implementation of the criminal code. Canada is a rule of law country, so if it is in the criminal code, it is imperative that police of jurisdiction are able to implement that law. I want to maybe ask Deputy Commissioner Larkin and Chief to be able to comment on this.
If you were saying that you...
Madame Provost, please. Madame Provost, merci.
Yeah.
Merci. Ça fait 35 ans que vous attendez un programme comme celui-là. Vous disiez vous-même que vous êtes très ému. Ça vous fait quoi d'être ici aujourd'hui dans un contexte quand même particulier où votre collègue à côté de vous, de par ses propos, peut-être maladroits, est en train de miner ce programme-là avant même qu'il soit mis sur pied? Comment vous vous sentez dans cette situation-là?
Je ne pense pas que mon collègue est en train de miner le propos. Je pense que mon collègue a été capté dans des contextes tout à fait particuliers d'une conversation privée à ses yeux. Formellement, tout le monde que vous avez ici aujourd'hui est en train de mettre en œuvre un programme et ceux qui comptent dans ce programme-là, c'est ceux qui vont le faire. Et la police de la Nouvelle-Écosse est derrière nous, la GRC est derrière nous, l'équipe de fonctionnaires qui est en train de réfléchir au programme, les stratégies sont en place et on va y arriver. Un programme ne tient pas seulement à une personne, il tient à une équipe et c'est en équipe qu'on est ici devant vous aujourd'hui.
Vous voyez toutes les questions aujourd'hui qu'on entend.
Oui,
vous voyez
je les
ce
vois.
qui se passe en Chambre de la part des conservateurs.
Oui, je
le
les
programme semble complètement remis en question.
C'est
avant
pas le
même.
programme qui est remis en question ici aujourd'hui, madame.
La carabine SKS n'est pas sur la liste. Comme militante de police se souvient, comme survivante aussi de Polytechnique, vous avez milité pour qu'elle le soit. Comment vous vous sentez aujourd'hui? Est-ce que c'est acceptable?
Je suis très consciente qu'il reste du travail à faire avec la SKS. Son histoire est une histoire tout à fait particulière. Et en mars déjà, on savait, lorsqu'il y a eu le 3e arrêté en conseil, la ministre Bendayan, à l'époque, nous avait dit qu'il restait encore du travail et de la réflexion. Ce travail et cette réflexion-là continuent. Soyez sans crainte, je reste vigilante parce que je suis très consciente qu'il faut qu'il y ait une position qui soit adoptée par rapport au SKS, compte tenu du type d'arme que c'est, mais on doit considérer l'ensemble du dossier.
Est-ce que c'est une ligne rouge pour vous, le SKS?
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Vous...
Bien, dans le sens que
Il faut absolument un programme
ça ne fait
qui...
pas partie de la liste, à un moment donné, vous allez peut-être quitter le gouvernement Carney?
ouais, j'en suis pas là. Je pense qu'il faut que pour qu'on complète tout ce qu'on a à compléter, et le rachat, et pas le rachat, pardon, mais la compensation n'est qu'un des éléments. Il y a d'autres choses qui restent à faire, et je le sais, le SKS en fait partie, et il en fera partie.
Police se souvient envoyer ce matin un...
Can you just repeat in English what your reaction was to hearing that recording? And what does it mean for public confidence in this program moving forward?
La confiance sorry. A program like that needs a team, needs a group, not just one person. And you see it today. We are all here together with the minister because we believe that it has to be done and that the solution we find in the specific context we have is the right solution for the context. So I'm really happy that we go forward, and I really thank from the bottom of my heart the Cape Breton Police that they are doing it and make it sure that it will work swiftly right after.
Minister, it's voluntary. How is this voluntary? You say that the program is voluntary, but after the amnesty ends, the people are not in compliance with the law. So how is this truly voluntary?
So Canadians, starting in Cape Breton today, will be able to enroll in the program, be able to get compensated if they were to turn their firearm in, or they will be able to get compensation if they deactivate and confirm that it's deactivated with a certificate. So it is strictly voluntary. Nobody is being forced to undertake the buyback program. Well, the expectation is that they will comply, and the order in council, as you know, is being extended from this October to October of 2026. So there is a one-year window. Our expectations is that law-abiding citizens will abide by the law, and beyond that, the police of jurisdiction is tasked to, as you know, implement the criminal code.
If Canada is a rule of law, why did you offer to pay someone the difference in compensation and bail them out of jail? You're a minister. Why'd you say that?
Let's maybe put this in context. This was a private conversation with an individual that I've known for many years. I said these two issues frankly, in bad humor, that is being misinterpreted. It is very clear that there was a private conversation. It is with someone. It is an acquaintance.
Do we believe you
Well,
now, or should we believe what you said on the phone?
Well, first of all, it's not the phone. It was in the context of a private conversation in person. What is important is that if you look at it in context, that was not a serious attempt. It was a bad attempt at humor on my part. It was in no way to suggest that they will either I will bail them out or otherwise. That is not.
Is it a subject you should do humor about? Is it a subject you should do humor about?
Let's look at the context of it. It was a 20-minute conversation, and as part of the conversation in a private setting, it was a range of issues that we discussed. So it is human.
Why say one thing in private and one thing different in public?
Your intention was to see that this program moved along quicker, and what we have today is maybe, hopefully, 200 guns in Cape Breton. Have you not failed at the task of getting this moving faster?
Absolutely not, because we need to test the system that we have for individual gun owners. The next 5 to 7 weeks is a test period. It will enable us to go through the glitches. In fact, I did the enrollment last week as a trial run, and I came up with some suggestions to improve it. Those improvements were done. What we anticipate is feedback that we get with Cape Breton. We will be able to strengthen and make it a better program overall.
Madame Provost, juste une dernière question. Madame Provost, est-ce que vous faites ce programme seulement pour le Québec?
J'étais pas présente lors de la conversation, donc le titre disait que c'était juste pour le Québec, le titre de l'article du Toronto Star. Ce programme-là s'adresse à tous les Canadiens parce que tous les Canadiens veulent que les armes de style d'assaut sortent de leur rue. C'est une mesure importante de sécurité publique et tous les Canadiens la souhaitent.
Mark, you want to ask a question?
Have you had a conversation with the Prime Minister since the recording came out? Do you still have his confidence to continue in this job?
I have the confidence to be able to bring this forward today. I have confidence from my colleagues that are standing with me. The Prime Minister gave me a mandate to execute on the compensation program, and this is exactly what we're doing today.
And if the pilot project is not a success, will you keep going forward?
We are looking at the pilot project overall as a way to gauge any systemic issues that we may have in terms of glitches that we'll have in the registration. We are quite we are resolved and confident that the program will go forward.
Gun owners who are saying they're not getting enough money for their guns, and that might be a deterrent for them to hand back their guns.
Well, ultimately, these are not brand new guns. So we have worked with many organizations to come up with a fair assessment of the value of the gun that is being turned in, and that is the compensation that will be going forward to the individual who applies for the compensation.
Yes, how much in total are mass shootings? Why haven't you banned it?
And thank you for the question, and I think Natalie answered in part. And look, we understand the concerns over the SKS. We will continue advancing the work with experts on the weapons classification, and that is taking place as we speak. This includes consultations, particularly with Section 35 rights holders, many Indigenous communities where for their livelihood, as part of their way of life, hunting is very much central to their way of life. So it is important that we respect those traditions, and as we have considerations around the SKS, we ensure adequate and appropriate consultations with Indigenous people.
If you go over the $742 million budget, how much are you willing to spend on this program to collect all these guns?
Well, the mandate we have right now is the funds that were available through previous budgets. So just to note that not a single dollar is coming from the current budget cycle. The last budget year was 2023-24 as part of the fall economic statement in 2024. And the program itself is being rolled out with existing resources, so no new funds are coming in. In terms of the program itself, look, there's roughly 180,000 registered firearms users or registered firearms that are subject to the prohibition. So we anticipate a fairly high uptick. We will assess the situation as it evolves. Cape Breton is the starting point for us, but we will continue to assess, and we will have continuous monitoring of the uptake of the program, and we will assess it at that point.
Est-ce qu'on a une dernière question en français, s'il vous plaît?
Peut-être pour Mme Provost, parce qu'elle est en français, mais à quel point c'est vraiment volontaire si au terme de la période d'amnistie, la personne est susceptible d'accusation si elle ne remet pas son arme?
Est-ce qu'ils veulent participer au programme? Il faut qu'ils lèvent la main. Donc, ils ont un acte de volonté à faire. Mais il y a une chose qui est claire. Avoir ce type d'arme-là entre ses mains, après l'amnistie, c'est un acte criminel. Donc, volontairement, s'ils veulent participer, ils ont qu'à lever la main et on va les suivre.
Oui, sur les mots.
Est-ce que vous allez avoir les ressources policières parce que si quelqu'un a une arme qu'il garde chez lui, à un moment donné, est-ce que vous allez envoyer des policiers à chaque maison pour les récupérer?
Aujourd'hui, si dans sa maison, quelqu'un, parce qu'il a des intentions malhonnêtes, a une arme prohibée, les policiers ne cognent pas à toutes les portes de toutes les maisons. Donc, il est possible, oui, qu'après le programme, il y ait des gens qui choisissent de garder chez eux des armes prohibées. Mais ces gens-là commettent un crime. Right now, in Canada, there's some people with bad intentions who have in their house prohibited or non-restricted or restricted weapons without fair licensing. But the policeman is not knocking at every door to check what is in the hand of each Canadian. They are seized when they are moved, when there's an event. So it would be the same. But all of the people in possession of one of the weapons that has been banned since 2020 and who will not participate in the compensation program will will have an illegal gun in its possession, and that's a criminal act.